Hi there, welcome to another video from Park Craddock's Boat Sales. I'm Jonathan Parker and we're here today at Gosport Marina near Portsmouth, and we're looking at this Beneteau Monte Carlo 37. It's a 2008 model and we're going to show you all the features and benefits it has to offer. But I just want to show you, it's quite an unusual model because there's not many 37-foot hardtop motorboats that are red. And the Monte Carlo 37, it was always an option. And it's got this beautiful gel red hull. So it says factory, but there's no blooming on it at all. It's a 2008 boat. It's bright as the day it was born, and it's the end of the season now. We're in the winter period, and it's absolutely still in very, very nice condition. Quite a lot of time in the winter period, coloured hulls are sort of showing a bit of blooming in the sun and things like that. This one is pristine. It's really nice, and the guy hasn't done anything with it since it was polished at the beginning of the season. So it just shows you what good quality this actual finish is. But the other thing I wanted to show you is the Beneteau Monte Carlo actually has a stepped hull. It has what they call an air step system. And what it does, it actually uses these grills, and there's actually vents here. So when you're going along, air is forced into the grill. It goes down a tube, down into the centre of the hull, and then is pushed out into the V in the bottom of the hull. And what that does, it reduces friction of the hull and the water, and just gives you better economy and a better speed. So this has twin D4 300s, 260s. This has twin D4 260s in it on stern drives, but this will still perform at 30 knots plus. We took it out today, and like I said, it's been in all season. It's not been out since March at the beginning of last year, so it's due its annual lift and anti-foul, but we still achieved 28 knots and we were cruising at 25 knots. So with a clean bottom, this is a 32, 33 knot boat. Really, really nice, nice feature, and it seems too that it really does work. The other thing I'd like to point out actually, just before we go on board, is I quite like the fact that both diesel tanks, because it's twin diesel tanks, both diesel tanks you fill from one side. So there's no messing around at the pumps going from one side to the other, and they're all on the side. One of the biggest problems with water ingress in fuel tanks is actually because they're on the deck, sometimes they're left a little bit loose, sometimes the O-ring perishes. Any water, seawater, anything that goes on the deck goes over them, and that's the easiest way water actually gets in. But here, water can't pool around it, it can't do anything. It's actually really good position for them. I quite like that. Talking of side decks though, Beneteau do their side decks really well. It's really easy access both sides, really wide side deck, and this side as well, it's even wider, look. So it's a very easy step up, and then up, and then around the side. Quite high rails all the way around, which then leads to a front bathing area. There are bathing cushions for this. It's a little bit damp. There are bathing cushions for this, but you can see it's a lovely space up here. So as you know, I'm 6 foot, so you can actually see it's quite a nice position with 4 cup holders. The hatch is sort of forward for the forward cabin, so it doesn't get in the way of the bathing area. And of course, you've got your locker for your anchor in here. And the anchor consists of a mix of rope and chain. The actual current owner has added another 30 metres of chain to it. So it's about 50 metres of chain and then about 20 of rope, I believe. Obviously, being a hardtop boat, it has big windscreen, really good visibility when you're driving, and large wipers which wash as well. And then the huge sunroof, which you'll appreciate once we go on board. But I'm just going to step back around this way. This has a holding tank as well. So the holding tank is emptied from the deck on there. And then obviously step back down. Obviously we've got shore power and a shower, transom shower just here, through the small gate with a perspex screen on, and then into this very large feeling, very beamy cockpit area. And that's the beauty of the hardtop boat, is actually this can be your second living area no matter what time of year. In the summer, you can open it all up, and you can really see now the vastness of this electric roof. So you can open it all up in the summer, have a nice breeze through here. Really feels more like an open boat. But then when it comes to the winter months, or it starts raining, being in the UK, we simply, at the touch of a button, we can close it off. And then we're in a cockpit area which is then protected from the weather. It has diesel heating as well. And the diesel heating actually has a vent just down there, just at your feet. So it's quite a large vent as well. And then into obviously the main cockpit area. And the helm seat as well on the... so this is a predecessor to the GT38, the Beneteau GT38. Very similar layout, but the GT38 has gone for a central driving position, where the 37 is actually on the starboard side. Now, there's always a debate, because if you're in the centre, when you're driving along, you can go, well, yes, I've got good, even visibility. When you're banking and things like that, you know the top doesn't drop so low because you can see out the screen. So there is a benefit to that. But the disadvantage is actually when you're mooring, because it's very nice to see the pontoons when you're actually mooring, and you tend to always try and moor on one side more than the other. But what I like about it being on the starboard side is because if I'm mooring to the starboard, the pontoon, I can actually peer down and see it. So as I'm mooring, I can actually manoeuvre, and just as we've just taken this out for a drone video, which you can see as well, I've also driven this and parked it myself, and it was very nice to be able to see this side of the boat and actually see the pontoon when I'm manoeuvring up to it. Or if the pontoon's on the other side, then using this same side, I can actually judge the distance from the boat next to me. So I know that if I can fit into the slot, that as long as I keep a reasonable distance from the yacht next to me, I can still get into the slot and moor up. So I do like an offset driving position personally. Other people may argue with that, so please feel free to comment. But I think an offset driving position I prefer, so I do prefer this layout. And I also like the fact it's got a double helm, so you can have friends travel with you facing forwards. And of course, you've got the large seating area, which can convert into another sun lounger. And the table also folds and spins. Sorry about that. As well. So you can have it as a drinks table, you can have it as a dining table, or you can drop it. And it does drop on the gas strap. You don't have to remove anything or change anything. And then there's infill cushions for here to make it into a lounger. And then, of course, you've got an outdoor galley. Just has a sink and then a surface. This is clearly designed to be able to fit a grill into if you wish. This didn't have the option, but it still has, though, a fridge underneath. So a nice fridge with freezer compartment, a Waco fridge, and then you've got a bit of storage in there. And there's quite a lot of storage about. There's storage under the seats, and then that then leads down to engine access. So there's quick engine access, which is simply through the hatch here, and then you can step down into a very generous sized engine bay. You can get around both sides of the engines. Everything you need to get at engine wise is down there. It's very easy to check engines, and they're actually a nice setup of engine. They're quite a simple engine from the point of view of servicing. There's not much to do. There's not much to look after, but it is nice to be able to get your head in there and just check bilges for oil, water, very easily and quickly, and obviously check your levels. So a good engine space. Beneteau have gone for a plastic fuel tank, so you never have to worry about corrosion in the tanks or anything like that. And again, with the twin setup, it makes for good reliability. Right, let me put these back down. Right, the helm position as well. Obviously, you've got everything you need here. We've taken it out, and it performs well. Like I said, I got 28 knots out of it, being at the time of year, but it cruised happily at 25. Everything is to hand, and it has had upgrades. So these aren't the original nav. So the current owner bought this boat in 21. Much like most people, people still weren't going abroad. They weren't confident to go abroad. So he bought the boat to actually travel and stay on for long periods of time. So he actually travelled a lot of the UK in this boat in this last year. He's really enjoyed it. But in doing that, he thought, well, let's upgrade the nav. So he's put a 12-inch Raymarine Hybrid Touch Pro on here, an Axiom Pro. He's upgraded the autopilot, the VHF. He's added AIS, and of course it has radar as well. So really nice upgrades. Has a bell thruster as well, not forgetting, and then your normal array of switches and dials. So a very nice system. Right, the Beneteau Monte Carlo has an offset door, as you can see. It's not a central door, and that does lead into the main saloon. Let me show you. It has an interesting door, so it has like it's got a lot of Italian stuff as well. I like the way it just sort of rolls away. And then down the steps, and these are actually quite nice. A lot of sports boats, it's a very steep, almost ladder-like steps, but this is quite a gradual down. And then into the quite bright and very modern feeling saloon space. Now don't forget this is a 2008, so it should feel quite modern, but it does feel like they're still building them like this now. So when we've just been around Dusseldorf Boat Show, and this has the feel of a lot of the new boats that we've seen there. There's Roman blinds all the way around, again storage, and again this can convert, this time you change the pedestal to a shorter one. This can convert into another bed area as well. Large mirror on the back, and then it leads to the galley area. So you can see there's a television up here for the saloon area. Sink with drainer, twin hob, and then a combi oven just up there. So it is a combi, so it's oven and grill. And then, must be this, and then a second large, much larger fridge and freezer compartment. So quite a nice appointed, obviously storage, drawers, usual kind of thing you'll find in the galley. And then we'll go through into the heads. And it's another actual really generous size, because if you imagine, look at that, I could be 7 foot. You know, I could be absolutely, this is one of the tallest actually I think I've seen in a long time. Really generous space, really easy. The shower, you actually feel like you can use it as a proper shower. There is a curtain that just protects all of this area, so you can pull it around the toilet and it protects all the sink and all the cabinetry. So it actually is, it's got its own sort of separate shower tap as well. So it really feels like you can use this as a proper shower. Actually really generous space. I only just realised how tall it is. Electric toilet as well, which goes into a holding tank, as I said before. But yeah, really nice space. Nice design as well. Again, it's just got a pull down blind in there. And then we go through into the main cabin. The main cabin, you can see, is an island bed. And again, quite generous on space and storage. There are wardrobes either side. Reading lights just up here. Again, Roman blinds, which cover this whole area, which really gives it a warm feel of an evening. But the main thing in here is this. It's a 43-inch Samsung frame television. So it's made to look like a picture frame, but you can actually have pictures on it. So it looks like a picture frame. I don't know if it's on. I'll see. But it's a 43-inch smart TV. Really nice addition. And you'd think it would look ridiculous in here, but actually you don't really notice it too much. It actually fits perfectly, and with the frame around it, it looks really smart. It looks like part of the furniture. I like that. We've got Webasto heating, and there's vents everywhere. So you've seen the one in the cockpit. They're in every room. Controlled up here, and then you've got your normal control panel, and then it's also upgraded to a Fusion stereo. So we've got the touchscreen Fusion with the speakers, and then that can be controlled through the plotter as well. Really nice. But we've got then the second cabin. So 37-foot second cabins, normally twins. Sometimes you can convert to a double. But the unusual thing about this is that it has a central door, not a side door into the cabin. And then you go through and then you walk literally down in between the two beds. So as you can see, we've got a bed either side. There's loads of storage, little storage compartments, and that's access in there to the batteries. There's an inverter on this boat as well. I think it's about 2,000 watt or to 3,000 watt inverter, will confirm, and it doesn't say it on it. I just had a look, it doesn't say it on it. And the chargers are in there as well. So everything's in that large cupboard area, easily accessible. But then we've got the bow cushions. They're the same colour as the cockpit, so they go on the bow, and then we've got infill cushions just there as well. But this is actually, for a second cabin, it is full width. So you've got a window that end and a window this end, with Roman blinds again. It's actually really smart. So I'll just show you, just have a quick look down in here, and it sort of gives you an idea of the space a bit more. And then all the way around to the other side. There's actually a really nice space in here. You can also infill it. So there is a board that goes in the middle here, and then you can slide one of the beds to one side or the other. So if you want it to be a double, you can make it a double. And then we come back out into the saloon. So the Beneteau Monte Carlo 37, it's a hardtop 37 foot. What's it overall? Must be a bit bigger than that with the bathing platform.
I'd imagine
38, 39, isn't it?
We'll overlay the actual.
Yeah, we'll overlay the actual length. Well performing, good performing, really nice to manoeuvre boat, because we've just done it. If you're interested in this boat and you want to know how much it is, come and see us at park-adams.co.uk. It's for sale now. Subscribe to our channel, come and see our other videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.